Ispira. History? Long time, yes. Oh, yes, I did because hello everyone. To do an update. The board is having difficulties in the actual conference room, and we are working on it right now. It should be up and running in about 5 minutes.
Evening, everyone. You are unique, virtually in change.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you to our board office staff who has let members of our public know that we are dealing with a bit of a technical challenge, but we're pivoting as quickly as possible. So thank you to the members of the public who are bearing with us as we're doing our best to accommodate both members who are in person and folks that are virtual. We'll be getting started shortly. Thank you all. So, good evening, everyone. Again, thank you for being with us. This is Board Chair Ron. I would like to welcome you all to the April 25th public board meeting of the Baltimore City Board of Commissioners. If you have not yet done so, you are joining us virtually. Please mute your phone. Make sure that your phone is silent so that we don't have any additional interruptions. Anyone who does not mute their phone may be muted by the call moderator or removed from the call. Additionally, if you are not a member of the Baltimore City Board of Commissioners or the CEO and your staff, please turn your video off. I will now read a roll call of the board to identify who is present. Please identify yourself first before speaking for the record. I'll go through the roll call vote. Chair Richardson, Mr. Brooks, Mr. Foy, Commissioner Esposito,
Present.
Commissioner Griffin, Commissioner Casati, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay, Commissioner Reed, Commissioner Rob, Commissioner Lady Harrington.
Present.
Nine present. That is eight present. Four absent. Is there a motion to reopen the meeting? Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Slater. All in favor? Commissioner Ford,
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta, Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Sally, Commissioner Slater.
Yes.
I am also in favor. That is eight in favor with 4 I'm going to ask everyone in the room physically to join me by standing as we have the presentation of colors for the JROTC at Patterson High School, AF JROTC at Patterson High School. Thank you. In representing the Patterson High School, I think that there may be a slight error because I know that I saw a major there as well, but we have for us at Tech Sergeant Carlos Rodriguez, Cadet Tech Sergeant Rico Pepe, Cadet Airman Jefferson Argueta, Cadet Airman Jeanette Cloud, and Cadet Tech Sergeant Carlos. That was Carlos is there twice, but we did have a cadet there as well. Can we give them another round of applause for being with us tonight? Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Administrator Harrington for our moment of silence.
Good evening. I would like to take this time to recognize the passing of city school students. Each of these individuals are part of our school communities. They will be remembered fondly by the greater city community. Tonight, we send our deepest condolences to the friends Donovan Plus Lamb, who is a 12th grade. He's been a student at ACE since middle school, along with his twin brother, Dante. Donovan was best remembered for his infectious smile and kind demeanor. He was well liked among students and staff. He made a positive impact on all who encountered him. He will be greatly missed by the entire ACE community. Jalen Richards was a sixth grade student at Westport Elementary. Jalen's love and talent for drawing has left his family with very beautiful sketches that they would share. He loved sports and had experience playing baseball, football, and basketball. Jalen also enjoyed riding bikes and playing on his Xbox. His favorite color was red. He will be remembered for telling funny jokes and his smile that could brighten any room. Jalen Richards will treat his family, friends, and his school family, especially his teacher and classmates.
Very much. Thank you, Commissioner Reed. Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Commissioner Sal. Thank you. So let me do that one more time for the sake of the members of the public. We are approving the prior open session minutes. It was motioned by Commissioner Reed and seconded by Commissioner Kenyatta Bay. I'll do that one more time for the sake of those that were listening. Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay, Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Sally, Commissioner Slater Harrington.
yes,
I'm in favor. That is 8 in favor with 4 absent. Is there a motion to approve the closed session summary?
So move, Reed.
Thank you, Commissioner Reed. Is there a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Commissioner Roberts. All in favor? Commissioner
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed, Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Sally, Commissioner Slater Harrington.
yes.
I'm in favor. That is 8 in favor with 3 absent. That motion passes. Thank you, everyone, tonight. Good evening. I am Ron Pratt, Service Vice Chair of the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners. We are excited and happy that everyone has joined us tonight. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I want to take some time to highlight our remarkable students. Last week, the board hosted its fourth family forum, a family and community board forum of the school year. That edition of the meeting, that edition of forums was focused on students and their needs. Thank you to Commissioner Esposito, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay, Commissioner Sally, for joining us all together here in this space, and to students who were virtual. We had a great time engaging with students. Some of them are with us this evening, and really getting to know the heart of their concerns around a myriad of topics. We had a chance to hear from them as it relates to student relationships, teachers and staff, academic success, mental health, and the like. So thank you to those students who are with us tonight, and thank you to those students who participated in that incredible forum that we had. We appreciate everyone who attended and supported the event. The passion and commitment we saw is the driving force for all the work we do as a school board. Sticking to the student theme, I want to acknowledge the creativity and the innovation of our student youth, of our young people, our students. Have you noticed the artwork on the first floor here at North Avenue? I think it's incredible artwork. In the hallway near the boardroom are fantastic pieces from our students. Take a look at them whenever you get a chance. They are innovative, they are clever, and they showcase the skill our students possess. I want to also shout out our students at the Baltimore School for the Arts. I had the privilege of seeing their spring production of Rent. Among the cast was our very own student commissioner, Kat Zaki. From the acting to the costumes, the stage props, the production was excellent. If you have not seen it, the show was running this week. I encourage you all to get some tickets and support our students there at the Baltimore School for the Arts. The senior actors and designers did a great job. What a way to end their high school career. Lastly, tonight, we are excited to announce that we are honoring this month's Baltimore City Public Schools Scholar Superstars. Each month during the school year, the board will honor two students from various grade levels for their excellence and exceptional contributions in a segment called Scholar Superstar. Last month, we honored two extraordinary students, Kadar Graham and Neve Carter Booth. This time, we have two new awardees from two different city schools. Our first student scholar is Fennell Coulter. Where's Fennell? Where's Fennell? Fennell with us? Come on up, Fennell. These seats are for you and your family. Come on up. And I'm pronouncing it correct. Fennell. Names are important. Fennell is a fourth grader at Hilton Elementary School. I think the teacher is here as well. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. In West Baltimore. Fennell is a superstar inside and outside of the classroom. He is a kind, empathetic, positive, and hardworking human being. Fennell is an active member of the Robotics Club, the CEO like that, and has participated in the Black History Bowl as a teacher picked grade representative. Fennell's display of leadership, responsibility, and teamwork does not go unnoticed by his teachers and his peers. It is now my pleasure, as we've already done, to invite Fennell's family, and Hilton Elementary School staff to join us right here. They've already done that. And Fennell, we want to hear from you. So are there any words? Do we have the mics set up? That mic doesn't work. JP, can you all hear us in the back? Our tech staff, can you all hear us? Hold on, Fennell. We want to make sure that that brilliant voice of yours shines through this room and everyone that's listening virtually. So now we really just want to hear from you. How does it feel to be honored tonight? Tell us about how school is for you. You look very sharp after tonight. Talk to us a little bit. How does it feel to be presented with this honor tonight? Hold on, he's muted. He's muted. So we're gonna unmute you. I'm gonna try that one more time. Let's try it one more
Wow.
time. There we
Um,
go.
I want to thank my parents and my teachers, Ms. Fun and Miss Summer, for for picking me out of all the students they could pick. Um, that's it. Uh,
That's good. Absolutely. And that's noble because certainly we know it takes a village, right, to raise each of our young people, including you. And it looks like you got some great parents here tonight. The parents want to ask you if you have anything to say, or the teacher, to just chime in a few moments to get from Chanel tonight.
Michelle Coulter Pennell's mom. And I would just like to, of course, thank Miss Brimmer and Miss Dunn for nominating Pennell for this. They both sent a nomination without knowing they were sending a nomination for the same student. Um, and just the Hilton family, Hilton Elementary School, think this is our fourth child that has attended Hilton, West Baltimore, since we've been homeowners in that area. And we absolutely love Hilton. The community, from the principal, from the staff, the school is absolutely nourishing and amazing. The teachers, they just are just wonderful. We hate that he's our final one, and he'll be graduating from there next year, be his last year, and we have to send him into middle school. But Hilton is amazing. The teachers are amazing. We appreciate Ms. Grimham has done so much. They've developed him so much this school year with the robotics program, with pushing him to excel and be the leader and have the confidence and be the scholar that he has become. So, and we just appreciate y'all for recognizing him, and he's just over the moon ecstatic. And we had to dress him up for the occasion today. Yeah.
Oh, he's shocked. He's shocked. And absolutely. And mom, I want to just remind you, right, that this looks like a student that's going to go to college.
Oh, for sure.
So he's going to be promoted from elementary school. It's not a graduation, right? Until we get to that senior year, and then we're graduating you first time, and then go to college, and then another graduation after that. Kudos. Very excited. Brenda?
Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure and humility as well to be here to just recognize Fennel. And it took a great deal of effort from my teammates and myself to, I would say, use a microscope with our criteria to pick one student out of 50 students. So, in order for us to do that and to be fair to all the students, we have set criteria that we use to nominate the students. So, when I got that invitation from Miss Boykin, Miss Dunn did not know that I had nominated Chanel. So, we collaborated, and she said, "Who are you picking from your homeroom?" And I said, I have 5 students. And each day it took us a week to eliminate and eliminate. And then she said to me, "I'm picking a boy. Who are you picking?" And I said, "You will know." So then I wrote the recommendation and she wrote hers unknown. I didn't tell her. So we just used the same criteria. And then I said, "Okay, here's my recommendation." And she said, "Here's mine." We had the same set of students in our robotics evening classes. And each day we just looked at the leadership qualities in each student. So one day in particular, we stood there during transition. We looked at Fennel trying to de-escalate a situation with his peers. And I looked at her, she looked at me. She didn't know who I was picking up until then. And then she came over and said to me, "Oh, Miss Bremer, we have the student. There goes the first one." And I gave her my recommendation. She gave hers, and it was unanimous. So as a team, we we just have to say teamwork. It's really teamwork that does it. It's not a unilateral decision. It's not a bilateral. It's just communicating together. We can. It takes a village, parents, board commissioners. It takes a village to raise a child. Let's get back to it. Thank you so
Mm, Fennell Senior. This is Fennell Junior, right? Um, I'm actually a employee at Booker T. Washington Middle School. Um, and I have to thank God first, and the school, and his mom, and everybody. You guys for all of this. This is really big. It's a big deal. I was telling everybody in school today, like, yeah, my son is going to be celebrated today, and Principal Ford and everybody. It was a big deal for me. Um, really happy. He's such a scholar. He likes to do his homework and be at home doing everything that he likes to do. You know, really uh, a blessing. A blessing. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
You got a whole team proud of you, right? You've been doing a great job. Keep it up. 'Cause we want to be able to see you. There may be commissioners in this room that may be attending your high school graduation, right? So we look forward to that. What we're going to do is come together, invite the CEO. We've got something for you. And all of the board commissioners are going to come right up here, present that to you, and with your family. And Ms. Brandon, we're going to take a photo with you. How does that sound? All right, come on up. Come on up, commissioners. Congratulations. You're welcome, our city school scholar superstar. Stay right here with Ms. Brandon, with your parents. Our second winner is Taiwan Hughes. Let's give Taiwan a round of applause. Where are you, Taiwan? Come on up, Taiwan. As he's coming, I wish we had some theme music to play for that. But Taiwan is a 12th grader at Luther U. Dempsey STEM Academy West in West Baltimore. Taiwan is also an exceptional student. He's the senior class president. That's now he might have, I was senior class president too. Right? He was senior class president, but I did not hold a 4.0 GPA. And Taiwan holds a 4.0 GPA. He is also a part of the My Law page at City Hall. Awesome. Taiwan is patient, kind, humble, and generous. Those aren't words that we often hear about our young scholars. So tonight is a good night. He helps others, never gives up on his fellow students. Taiwan plans on becoming a civil individual like that too, and has even applied to Johns Hopkins. What did you decide? That's where you're going? We got several Morgan alum in the room. We're rooting you on. We're shouting you on. And
One of the top producing Black engineers in the country.
so Taiwan, we're not going to put your up. You got your family with you. You got some staff members with you from the school. We want to hear from you. How does it feel to be celebrated? How does it feel to be one of the best and brightest that we have in our city? And then how do you how are you able to now acknowledge the folks that are here with you? How did they play a part in your success?
Well, for starters, it is absolutely breathtaking, honestly. To know that how hard I've been working and so much how I've been applying myself to this senior year, especially, it feels so much better to know that all my hard work is paying off. It truly, truly does. And to the many people that came here with me to celebrate and acknowledge me, I thank them the most because I would never have been here if it weren't for them. And even if I couldn't invite everyone, as far as members of friends, I know that even the one that this for me, they're still proud of me, and I appreciate them so much. There are so many people I want to thank, but one person that I want to call out right now would be my brother, Tashawn. Since ever since we started school together, it's always been me, him, and my other brother. It's always been us tackling the academics together. So we've always had that connection. We've always improved and moved forward together. And he's all graduated ahead of me. So to be the third person to graduate with so many goals and so many things accomplished means much. And I plan on continuing to do that exact same thing. This is fine. I'm just here representing this mom. This mom couldn't be here, work. I'm stepping up. I'm stepping up for him, and I'm proud of him. Proud of him.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be here and really humbled. Uh, I'm a second year teacher in Baltimore City, and I only met Taiwan last, and he has impressed me so much, so much. It touches the bottom of my heart to know that he's doing big things. Uh, what I wanted to say about Taiwan that really means a lot to me is that what he shared with me in the last year that we've known each other is that he wasn't always a superstar scholar. You can believe it. Now, he was a great human being, good, kind person, but he wasn't always the best with his grades. But he's worked so hard to get here, to his senior year, to make it count, to make it worth it, and get accepted to college. I think that is a remarkable story to see someone like that. And we're a small school at Bluford, George Evanston. We're a small community, a tight knit community, and we do everything we can to support each other. I'm just so happy to be here with Taiwan and family.
If I could, we aren't just a community, we are a family.
Hi, I'm Yolanda Wilson. I am principal at Bluefield Drew Jemison, and I'm so emotional. Um, I always refer to him as Mr. President because he really takes that responsibility and leadership to heart. We are a 6th through 12th grade building, and he really does try to lead, especially our middle school boys. And he is just one of the nicest young men that you can ever come across. We don't often advertise that our African American are doing the right thing, being positive, being supportive. So I really, really, as a principal, I'm really proud to have crossed this path this school year.
We got to hear from the brother.
I'm a little nervous, shy, but I'm happy. He's doing big in life, taking a good new step in his life. I'm proud of him. Thank y'all. You know,
Your voice is powerful. Never forget that. Whenever you have an opportunity, use your voice to make whatever noise. And in this case, it's positive noise as we celebrate your brother. So, as the same way that we celebrated the other, we're going to invite you up. We've got some things for you, and our commissioners are going to get a photo with you on this very auspicious occasion. Congratulations, Taiwan. Thank you all for that. I'm going to also ask Commissioner Aaron if she would acknowledge our retirees for the evening.
Sure, more good news to come. Tonight we will recognize Joan French. She started her employment with Baltimore City Public Schools on August 29th, 1984, as a special education teacher. She most recently served as a special education teacher at Phoenix and Murgo. Miss French served Baltimore City Public Schools for 38 years and 7 months. Congratulations.
And if those members are in the room, we just ask that you stand and we acknowledge you. And if you are virtual, we just want you to come on camera if you are here with us this evening. Was that it? That was the only one. Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington. I will now acknowledge the donation City Schools has received. Thank you to our donors and supporters for your generous support. The board acknowledges the donation of $10,000 from Academy Sports and Outdoors to Mary Ann Winterling Elementary School at Bentlow. There was something circulating on social media the correct way to say that. Also, it's Bentlow, it's Bentlow, not Bentlow or Bentlow. Bentlow. I gotta ask the historians who are from Baltimore in the room. Bentlow. Okay, it's from the I got you. Thank you for that. And this was to support their building and their student lounge and wholeness room. So thank you again. Is there a motion to approve the PEP and quasi-judicial matters, except item 3.04, which was
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Slater Harrington. Is there a second?
Second, Sally.
Thank you, Mr. All in favor, Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito,
Yes.
Commissioner Galvez, Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Howley,
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington,
Yes.
and I'm in favor. The motion passes with 8 in favor, 3 absent. Is there a motion to approve item 3.04?
So moved, Robert.
Thank you, Commissioner Roberts. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington. All in favor, Commissioner Foy,
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito,
Yes.
Commissioner Galvez,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Sally,
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington,
Yes.
and I'm abstaining from this vote. That motion passes with 7 in favor, 1 abstention, and 3 absent. I will now turn it over to Dr. Shanta Beatrice for her CEO comments.
Thank you, Commissioner McFadden. I'm going to come on camera for the folks. Great. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to invite our Chief Human Capital Officer, Chief Emily Nielsen, for this evening's PEP agenda.
Good evening, Commissioners. On our PEP agenda for this evening, we have an appointment from the Office of the Chief Academic Officer, recommended Steve Thomas, currently school counselor, SIT Culture Climate Co-facilitator, Howard County Public School System, be appointed Educational Specialist 2, School Counseling, People Services, effective July 3rd, 2023. Several appointments from the Office of the Chief of Schools, recommended that Denise Dion, or EPA, currently IEP facilitator, Baltimore County Public Schools, be appointed managing assistant principal at Crossroads School. That is an update that we're making in the PEP effective July 3rd, 2023. Recommended that Karen Walker, currently interim principal at Callaway Elementary, be appointed principal at Callaway Elementary, effective April 26, 2023. Is there a way I can project for the room? Okay. Try to use my teacher voice. Great. Back to the point. All right. Well, I'll reread that one. Recommended that Karen Walker, currently interim principal at Callaway Elementary, be appointed principal at Callaway Elementary, effective April. Congratulations, Principal Walker. Recommended that Samara McConan, currently educational associate 10 months at Elmer A. Henderson Hopkins, be appointed assistant principal. Also at Henderson Hopkins, effective July 3rd, 2023. Congratulations. Recommended that Kendra Jackson, currently assistant principal at Frederick Elementary, be appointed principal at Frederick Elementary, effective July 3rd, 2023. Recommended that Danita Plain, currently interim principal at James McHenry Elementary Middle School, be appointed principal at James McHenry Elementary Middle School. Recommended that LaWanda Wilson, currently interim principal at Drew Jemison STEM Academy West, be appointed principal at Drew Jemison effective April 26th. Congratulations to those appointments. And then from the Office of Chief Human Capital Officer, an appointment that Kenneth Carter, currently Director of People and Culture at Bloom Health Centers, be appointed Director, System Learning and Development, effective May 8th, 2023. An interim extension from the Chief Legal Officer, that Rebecca Burney, currently Interim Special Assistant Legal Affairs, be extended Interim Special Assistant Legal Affairs, effective April 26th through May 31st, 2023. An appointment from the Office of the Chief Operating Officer, Nancy Pena, currently Interim Director, Building Maintenance and Inspections, the appointed Director, Building Maintenance and Inspections, effective April 26, 2023. And finally, from the Office of Chief of Schools an appointment. Pavilia Appleberry, currently Program Manager, COVID-19 testing team, be appointed Executive Assistant Chief of Schools effective April 26, 2023. Congratulations to all the appointees.
Thank you so much, Chief Nielsen. As has become our practice, I will read further detail on each of our newly appointed principals. And by the way, let me just say, it's nice to have the in-person cheering section back for the appointment of principals. So I love hearing all the claps and hollers. It's great. It's a good team. It is. It is. Um, so Wanda Wilson is having a very big night. She has been a dedicated city schools employee for the past 26 years. In addition, classroom experience. Oh, oh, you're so see. That's why I take. Ms. Wilson has a vast administrative background in elementary, middle, and high schools. Her most recent appointment was interim principal at Blue Ridge Jefferson West Academy. One of her favorite quotes or scriptures is, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." Proverbs 22:6. This scripture supports her educational belief that teachers have an everlasting impact on children. Ms. Wilson earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Education from the Coppin State University graduate school, from the Coppin State University, and Master of Science degree in Education from Towson University, as well as an admitted one certificate from Morgan State University. Congratulations, Principal. Danita Plain is an educator in Baltimore City for 17 years. First as a third grade teacher, then an educational associate, currently principal at James McHenry Elementary Middle School. During her role as the assistant principal, student achievement increased in mathematics, and she built meaningful, trusting relationships while promoting a positive climate in culture. Ms. Plain has a BS in elementary education from Coppin State University, as well as a master's degree in educational administration from Grand Canyon University. She seeks to lead and to lead James McHenry Elementary Middle School through a student-centered focus, shared collaborative practice, and a strong school culture with family and community partnership. Congratulations. Karen M. Walker was the new leader resident principal at Calvin Rodwell Elementary Middle School in school year 2021-22. She has been an assistant principal at City Schools for 12 years, with 8 years serving at Glenmount Elementary Middle School. As a product of City Schools and the daughter of a former Baltimore Schools educator, Ms. Walker's love for educating children began early in her life. She happily continues building the legacy of educating youth, which her mother modeled for her many years ago. Ms. Walker has a master's degree from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County in urban education and a bachelor's degree from Stevenson University. Congratulations, Principal Walker. Tetra Jackson began her career in city schools in 1999 as a second grade Baltimore resident teacher at North Bend Elementary School. She has also served as an instructional support teacher, academic dean, assistant principal, and principal. Her motto is teamwork makes the dream work. She believes there's nothing a team of individuals with a common goal can't do. Ms. Jackson holds a Bachelor of Science degree from Coppin State University and a Master of Arts Education from the College of Notre Dame of Maryland. Congratulations, Principal Jackson. Now, I would like to continue this evening by recognizing another achievement by our Baltimore City School students. A team from James McHenry Elementary Middle were regional kindergarten through third grade winners of the Toshiba National Science Teaching Association Exploravision Science Competition. This national, it's okay to applaud. This national competition engages students in real world problem solving with a strong emphasis on STEM. Exploravision challenges students to envision and communicate new technology 10 or more years in the future through collaborative brainstorming and research of current science and technology. The James McHenry team of first grader Anthony Forsyth and second grader Keegan Nathaniel Wright, coached by Madhu Vijay Singh, won the regional competition for kindergarten through third grade students by creating an entire written presentation with an abstract and description of their product idea. It's an InstaFreeze food waste eliminator, which I'm going to sign up to get one, plus a bibliography. We are excited that we will be inviting this to a future board meeting to learn about their award-winning project in person. I couldn't wait to share the news, so if we could just say another round of applause, big congratulations to these students. I am also very pleased to announce that 9 of the 16 finalists in the annual Dream Big competition hosted by the Lyric Theater and WBAL TV are city school students. To honor the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King, students in grades 5 through 12 in Baltimore City and Baltimore County are invited to create artwork based on their big dream for a better world. Our big dream finalists were as follows: Joshua Adler, sixth grader at Francis Scott Key Elementary Middle School; Miles Anderson, a 10th grader at Baltimore City College; Amina Ebron, an 11th grader at Baltimore School for the Arts; Naima Renee Gordon, a 10th grader at Baltimore City College; Shemaya, I got your name right, Shemaya, Hinton Knight, a 7th grader at our Charm City Virtual Elementary Middle School; Elias Rigoberto Gomez Disselberger, an 8th grader at Hamilton Elementary Middle School; Margaret Dalby, another 8th grader at Hamilton Elementary Middle School; Nevaeh Little, a 6th grader at Baltimore Leadership School for Young Women; and Ayana Longshore, a 12th grader at Baltimore School for the Arts. Finalists will be honored at the Dream Big celebration taking place tomorrow at the Lyric Theater and will be part of the WBAL TV broadcast of the celebration on Sunday, May 14th at 11:30 a.m. So we invite everybody. Make sure you tune in on the 14th, and congratulations to the Baltimore City School Dream Big final. Congratulations. I'm also excited to announce that summer program registration is now open. As a Baltimore City School parent, I got my initial text that came through that the summer learning portal is open. Families can visit the summer learning webpage on our website to learn all about our summer program offerings and how to register. For summer 2023, we are offering more than 20 unique partner and district-run programs for students across more than 45 sites. Additionally, 58 schools will be offering their own summer programs with a focus on math and literacy, with embedded social emotional learning, and afternoon enrichment.
please be sure to check with your child's school to see what they may be offering. Summer registration this year will be done through the parent portal. The link to the parent portal is also on the summer learning page, along with a step by step guide in both English and Spanish. Schools are also positioned to help families register, so if you have any questions, reach out to your school principal or the school secretary. Please be sure to check back to the Summer Learning webpage regularly, as we will be updating it as new programs are added. I think it's also important to note that next Tuesday, May 2nd, is National Teacher Appreciation Day. Yeah, there you go. While I think we really should be appreciating teachers' hard work and commitment every day, we just want to take this opportunity to express our thanks to the dedicated men and women who work long hours, sometimes under difficult circumstances, on behalf of our young people and their families. It's just no exaggeration to say that really the core relationship of high performing schools and the driver of student learning really does essentially center on quality relationships between students and skillful teachers. So, congratulations, and please, everyone, thank me and join me in thanking all of our city schools teachers for the work they do every single day. Finally, the United Way City Schools fundraising campaign has been extended until Friday, May 12th. We are very, very close to hitting our goal for this year's campaign. And I really just want to encourage everyone, and I'm doing this both as the CEO of City Schools and the United Way board member, to really just give whatever we can to help our families across Central Maryland. United Way does amazing work in supporting our families, and we want to be supportive of their efforts. Thank you, everyone. And Mr. Vice Chair, this concludes my remarks for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Santos. I'm going to move item 5.01, first reader for policy JJA to after. Thank you to the principals that are here and our young people that are here. I see you all, Chambers, Olamiji, all of you. Um, have a good evening. Be careful. Policy JJA, student organizations incorporating student governance, student rights, and responsibilities to after public comment. So we got started a little late today. We want to make sure that we hear from members of our public. However, I'm going to review the consent agenda for colleagues. Let me know if you like any item removed, and please state your question or your reason why for that. Item 8.01, gifts and donations. Item 12.01, State University. Item 12.02, Globetrotter Travel Management Services Incorporated. Item 15.01, E. Kunis Construction Company Incorporated. Item 15.02, Motorola Solutions Incorporated. Thank you. We will now move to public comment. Speakers from recognized groups will have the opportunity to speak for 5 minutes. First, we have Nathan Farrell, representing the Baltimore Teachers Union.
Greetings, my name is Nathan Farrell, and I'm a city school Spanish teacher providing comments on behalf of the Baltimore Teachers Union. I'd like to update the board on some of the BTU's most recent proposals that we presented during negotiations. The BTU has proposed that the board monitor worksite conditions to ensure they conform to laws and regulations on safety and health requirements. We propose that a BTU building representative shall be a part of a school construction committee, provide feedback and concerns whenever a school is renovated, replaced with new construction or temporarily relocated. The building representative shall have access to an online dashboard to view and track the status of facility work orders for their school or work site. This is a proactive and cost-free collaborative proposal. It improves communication and stakeholder engagement and is a best practice. Schools and work sites shall be closed if they do not have potable drinking water or running water. Charter and contract schools that don't have potable drinking water via the school plumbing shall establish a potable drinking water plan that includes the purchase, storage, and replacement of water to be shared with the Office of a New Initiative in the BTU. This proposal is due in part to the all too common reality of our students, both in traditional and charter schools, not having access to potable drinking water during the school day. Our students not having access to drinking water during the school day are frequent. Having a potable drinking water plan is a best practice. For our social workers must have a confidential workspace to support students and families, as well as access to clerical services. The BTU proposes that this workspace shall not be concurrently shared with other staff as it impedes confidential relationships and work of a clinical social worker. The BTU has submitted to the board a detailed proposal around the issue of school social worker workload and how the number of schools in which individual social workers are assigned shall be determined. In order for social workers to actually do social work, they shall not serve as IEP, 504 plan, or SST chairs. Process management should not be limiting the clinical services our social workers are able to provide. Additionally, the BTU proposes that LCSWCs shall receive a one-time stipend payment of $2,000 due to the increased responsibility of their clinical licensure in terms of supervising other LCSWs working to achieve the C, or the clinical aspect of the licensure. Speech language pathologists, or SLPs, deserve a private and dedicated space to deliver their clinical and therapeutic services. Currently, many SLPs are relegated to serving our needy students in the hallways, closets, and other distracting and unsanitary locations to provide clinical services. Our students do not fully benefit from therapies under these current conditions. The BTU proposals remedy this entirely avoidable issue through cost-free solutions. For SLPs, a certificate of clinical competence shall be recognized as a national certificate, similar to teachers in the NBC. An SLP that holds a certificate of clinical competence shall receive a $10,000 salary increase, and if they work at a low-performing school as defined by the blueprint, an additional $7,000 salary supplement. The board shall also establish a joint work group of 5 representatives selected by the board and 5 representatives selected by the BTU to provide recommendations to the Office of Special Education and the CEO on SLP workload issues. Additionally, we must address the issue of school psychologists. The BTU has submitted to the board detailed proposals that align with the recommendations of the National Association of School Psychologists, or NASP, including that ratios not exceed 500 students per school psychologist in scheduling. The current ratio exceeds 1 school psychologist to 1,000 students. During district-wide PD days, our psychologists deliver discipline-specific presentations as detailed in the NASP practice. School psychologists, supervisors, and coordinators shall have input into use of and planning for PD days. Lastly, occupational and physical therapists also deserve a dedicated and consistent, private, and quiet location so our students can receive effective therapy in accordance with their IEPs. In newly renovated and constructed schools, such as 21st century buildings, clinical suites were specifically constructed for OT and PD services. Often, because these dedicated clinical suites have a private bathroom and sink to support teaching life skills like toileting or hand washing, suites are a desirable space in the building. In many cases, those OT and PT suites have been given other purposes, such as offices or storage. In one case, clinical suite serves as a second office and private bathroom for the principal. In order to recruit and retain educators in city schools, the proposals presented this evening must be addressed thoughtfully, and we look forward to the board's responses or counter proposals. Thank you.
Next, we have Charles Perry, President of the Public School Administrators and Supervisors Association, Pizzazz. Good evening, Mr. Perry.
Good evening. Good evening, Vice Chairman Patty, honorable board members, Dr. Santalisa. I hope that you're doing well as we head into the final 6 couple of weeks of the academic year. Quite some time ago, a request was made to ensure that every administrator who received less than an effective evaluation rating last year would have it adjusted to effective. I won't belabor this issue again, and sadly, nothing has changed. I will, however, note that after conferring with other union presidents across the state, I learned that their school leaders were respected for their contribution on reopening and leading the schools. They received satisfactory evaluations. I mean, what supervisor rating had ever operated a school through a pandemic and reopened during one? Oddly enough, none of their leaders coordinated technology or testing like we did. We reopened schools, led through an unprecedented explosion of school violence, tested in all schools for COVID, not to mention technology issues, waves of outbreaks in schools, and challenges faced by staff, opportunities that no other administrators nationally were able to accomplish. But we did collectively as a district. I'd say that this leadership led to district success. So according to policy GPO-RA 23B, all our administrators then should have been rated at least effective. It's rather insulting that everyone who was able to accomplish this amazing work will receive anything less than effective. There are many times when district leadership is talking about bargaining units where we are referred to as partners. In some instances, this is accurate, but it would be courteous in all instances. Speaking of courtesy, that comes from section 10.2 of the employee handbook. In a true partnership, we should have been notified in advance that some members were going to be impacted by budgetary and organizational changes. This would have allowed us to be prepared to receive the concern and confusion of our dedicated members to reassure them that they were not being penalized or singled out by the district that we all love. This would have permitted us to let our members know that we would not be used to ultimately account for staff shortages in the classrooms across the city, especially following the creation of so many new school-based leadership positions. Our members who may be displaced should be guaranteed these other Unit 2 positions that have been newly created. Last week, numerous administrators were summoned individually for a meeting. They issued a letter indicating they would be reclassified or placed on surplus. Surplus basically means find the job in a short period of time before we return to the classroom. Naturally, this has caused undue stress and anxiety to our members. People have committed themselves to work for the betterment of children for years. Where is the trust and dignity in an environment that requires it for all stakeholders serving children? As governed by a contract, Article 1-A, before any new positions are created by the board will provide Piazza with at least 15 days prior notice, and the job description will be published. This regularly is not the case. As members placed in surplus are anxious to continue their careers in city schools as Unit 2 members, we need to know what positions are available, as the process for applying and interviewing is time consuming and very stressful. They've only been given until June 30th to find employment, so time is of the essence. Section 10.1, Customer Service of the Employee Handbook expects quality, results, focused service. As a district, let's be cautious when revamping positions because we don't want to reduce our amazing staff and fall back into another consent decree. I want to take this moment to present you with a hypothetical situation. You receive a letter threatening to take your house because, according to the Homeowners Association, you failed to comply with certain requirements like sleeping behind your garage. Months pass by, and your neighbors are interviewed after everyone on your cul-de-sac is notified. Following the interviews and months of finger pointing and rumors of eviction, it's determined that you've done nothing wrong. It was actually a bitter neighbor who wanted your parking spot or was promised by the builder right plant trees where your house was built. Now you receive a letter following months of your neighbors talking behind your back, questioning your ethics, integrity, and trustworthiness. The letter is unsubstantiated, meaning you did nothing wrong. Don't say anything to the neighbor. Continue working, living there with a smile as if nothing was wrong. This is the investigation process. Finger pointing, whispers, false claims can happen, but once unsubstantiated, usually is the case, the staff member is not made whole again. Their reputations are tarnished, their character questioned, and they are expected to return to work with the same passion and drive that they had abused with the false claims and process. We need to amend the process somehow. Oh, by the way, the accuser is left harmless, laughing and smiling behind the victim's back after spreading misinformation to whoever would listen. Finally, countless children are being reassigned due to behavioral infractions at their school. We need alternative learning environments like the APEX Center I mentioned many months ago. I know there are processes to make things happen. They shouldn't jeopardize the safety of school operations and the safety of our staff. The level of violence remains frightening, and we have to address it immediately. It's disruptive to the learning process. Parent code of conduct. Enough said. Thank you for your time. Have a good night, and please be safe.
Thank you, Principal Fair. Next, we have Sheila Phillips, President of the Special Education Citizens Advisory Committee, also known as CCAC. Ms. Phillips, come right on up and use this device. You don't have to turn it on, but just hold the mic up to your mic. Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Lisa. I shared all um we have two more meetings this year, May 8th and June 10th. Our meetings are always held second Monday of every month, and we're still being hosted at William S. Baird School, 2001 Warwick Avenue. I would love for someone to be in attendance the last few. One year, it's been challenging, but we have made it through it. We have increased our membership by 25%. We also have not only personal personal individuals, we also have businesses and colleges and professors who are joining our group to help us in the work we do. I recently attended a event at Capital State University. It was April 8th. We was on spring break, but the work continues. It was called Making Autism Work in the Community. So now those professors are now going to partner with us to help the work continue for special education. I left each one of you all a brochure. Please look over that. They have four programs, a 4-year program, a 2-year program, One help them in living in the community. The other one is help them to get jobs. So they're excited about coming into Baltimore City and working with us in order to continue to work. Also has some information. Many of us are under children with special needs and their parents, when they become 21, 18 to 21, they have their own scholarship, whether they can read, write, whether they blind, can hear. It doesn't matter, chronologically, they consider as an adult. But there's some new information that's out as of last year, October 22. Parents do not have to have garnished and take all their rights away. We have information that helps them support in their decision making. I have that information in my office. If anybody needs it or wants to spread that, it's very important for the parents to know. Our meeting in May 8th, as I said before, we'll be talking about the policy of closing schools and the building surplus. Miss Angela Everez will be hosting that. Then we're gonna have y'all will be coming and presenting to us about the services they can help in the Baltimore City schools. It is free. Also, I have another group that's coming. They're called RISE. Art is an art program centered around those with disabilities and is specialized in autism. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you all out at the meetings. Also, on the website for communications, you will see our schedule for next year is already up and running. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all. If anybody need any additional information, you can call the office at 443-642-4502. Leave me a message and your concern. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Phillips, for your service, your work, your advocacy for our students who are gifted in so many ways. Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Yes. You can try. Next, we have Ade Ervin, President of the Associated Student Congress, Baltimore City, also known as ASCBC. Is Ade with us?
Hello, my name is Erin. I'm a junior at Baltimore City College High School. I'm the treasurer of the Associated Student Congress of Baltimore City, and I've been in the Baltimore City public school system. As the board knows, ASCBC has been hard at work in supporting creation of new student government associations across the district, and are proud to have overseen the doubling of SBAs in the span of a few short months. These gains in the strength and size of student organizing power and contributed to two robust general assemblies of student leaders in the school year and the passage of Maryland Senate Bill 31, a powerful new reform law which will grant the student commissioner new voting powers on the board and guarantee all PCPS's high schools are implemented. While student government is an important and necessary venue for providing students an opportunity to be seen and heard, it also requires a strong policy that is uncompromising in its vision of supporting youth voices and making the tool of student organizing available to anyone who wants to get involved. That is why ACC has been hard at work with the policy JKA record, inviting our vision to the current board policy JKA, governing student council and student-led organization issues in state schools. Prior to this year's edition, JKA fell short in guaranteeing prospective student leaders the support they deserve in forming these bodies without Student-led organizations are a privilege of our wealthiest and supported schools, and student government continues to evade many of the schools where it would be best beneficial, in large part because teachers who've been playing a supporting or advisory role is a large sacrifice, and they have not been adequately guided or supported in their positions of leadership, and students have not been ensured the resources they need to take charge. The JJA Work Group, in consultation with the Parent and Community Advisory Board, ASCBC, and other stakeholders, has assembled a set of revisions that outlines direct guidance for new SBAs and provide language supporting our growing infrastructure in support of new SBAs and their advisors. When passed, the new policy will also provide a framework for direct engagement of student leaders with school administrators, providing a rights consultation and input on school decisions and establishing lines of communication with school leadership. This new policy is brought by the confluence of standard district engagement practices, from our questionnaires and surveys to direct peer-to-peer discussions, including the input that we gathered at our fall and winter general assemblies for ASC, where hundreds of students were given the opportunity to assist in this policy making, informing us of their priorities and holding which levels of student advocacy could stand to improve. It was led by the hardworking team from the Office of the Whole Child Engagement Office and the legal team, who liaised between ASBC and student leaders, school administrators, and student schools parents. The proposed JJA, alongside the aforementioned passage of Senate Bill 13, which has advanced past opposition in the Maryland General Assembly due to the unrelenting work of some of the student leaders and youth voices across the schools, from SOMOS at my school to Youth as Resources and other organizations. It signifies the potency of citizen stakeholders in the policymaking process and the continued importance of the directly impacted play in playing a role in writing the rules that govern our everyday lives. For someone who's been in the city school system for my entire schooling career, it has been like the student-led organizations that I have been in that have really made it worthwhile. This new JKA policy are the steps we need to support student leaders and guarantee student voices are not only heard by our peers, but by the adults we trust as well. I hope that you are all are as stoked about this new policy JKA as I.
It's really good to see the evolution of ASCBC and our student leaders and our advocacy groups. Thank you to those recognized groups. We'll now turn it over to our administrative assistant for and happy early Administrative Professionals Day, which is tomorrow, by the way. I'll now turn it over to Jessica for public comment.
Thank you, Vice Chair McFadden. First, we have a video from Rebecca Yanawan, followed by the reading of public comment by Commissioner King Adepe.
Good evening. I'm a city schools parent and education advocate. I appreciate recent conversations at school board meetings about safety and violence. This issue consistently rises to the top of the pile of issues that families, students, and educators identify as most important. The stickiest thing about the issue is that it shows up in schools, communities, and sometimes exists in homes. Its root cause is often grounded in things beyond the scope of any of the institutions or addressing it. I recently had a conversation with a school psychologist who reminded me we have to tackle this issue as existing in multiple spaces, and we have to include people with various types of expertise. This particular school psychologist was engaged in the school after a recent shooting. She said that she and others in her role have been asked to intervene in gang-related activities, even when it involves guns. She talked about how her training has nothing to do with intervening around criminal activity, and it seemed wildly inappropriate for her to be asked to do this. We saw this kind of intervention as falling within the duties of the police department, where there's a task force dedicated to gangs. Perhaps the police would push back and say they are not as well equipped to address issues related to youth and should not be intervening if gang activity is connected to a school. No matter where you think the onus lies, the fact remains that there is a dangerous gray area. I'm testifying tonight to urge the board and staff to discuss how we can deepen our commitment to the spirit of community schools and coordinate services from the top down as well as the bottom up. Currently, we expect each community school coordinator to coordinate services at the school, despite so many of our issues being both systemic and across the system. Who is working to coordinate these systems so we don't put mental health personnel in danger, nor set police up to address issues that require knowledge of adolescent development? With coordination of roles, it seems possible that we could more clearly define the role of different city services and connect these services so that people who need them get help proactively before a crisis. As the board considers its role as a leader in both schools and in the community on this issue, I hope you could advocate for this kind of coordination. Thank you so much.
First comment we have is from Stephen Mednick, licensed clinical social worker C. Social workers are seriously considering leaving or have left Baltimore City schools due to SST 504, chairing SST 504. Social workers are required to obtain a master's degree and 2 years of postgraduate degree experience prior to taking an exam to be licensed. However, despite being highly skilled, specialized, they are required to chair SST and 504 meetings, which includes process matters. They are then asked to make academic decisions about students when that is not within their scope of practice. If the district truly wants to improve academic scores, they should consider placing or other staff in the chair position who are more knowledgeable. None of the Maryland counties have social workers chairing SST or 504 meetings. Doing process management and in the past, when we had social workers in a similar position operating as IEP chairs that led to content degree because of FAPE violations. We do not want a similar situation where social workers cannot be available to provide all the required social work and counseling service to our highly needy IEP students, or be in a position where we cannot run groups for anger management, conflict resolution techniques, better provide bereavement counseling, trauma care, socioeconomical learning, and be available to complete an emergency position if a student is a danger to themselves or others and have to be hospitalized. In most instances, social workers are the only licensed staff member in the school, which also allows us to generate $1 million a year for Baltimore City schools in third-party payments. If social workers are freed up from being SSP or 504 chairs, they can contribute more to reducing the incident rate of adolescent violence in our schools and communities. A precedent has already been established by the counselors who have in their budgetary guidance that they cannot be a SSP or 504 chair. Please allow us to be more available to meet the mental health needs of our students by eliminating sharing SSP 504 as that, which is more consistent with Dr. Sanfelice's wholeness initiative, where we truly address all our students' needs. Approximately 20 social workers have left the district. Let us prevent another 20 licensed clinical social workers from leaving by honoring our request to not share SST or 504 respectfully submit Stephen Medley, LC. Next written comment is from Pamela Howe. Dickey Hill Elementary School, number 21. General public comment. Baltimore City Public Schools hire certified social workers with clinical licensure to meet the mental health needs of its IEP, general education, 504, and SST students through counseling. We are held accountable for these services by a social work licensing board and governed by a code of social work ethics. The role of 504 SST care is in direct conflict with several aspects of our code of ethics. 504 SST care is a non-professional role specifically assigned to workers in Baltimore City Schools. These roles will present a conflict of interest because social workers are expected to manage all of the clerical and leadership responsibilities of this position while also considering a student's counseling needs. It is impossible to manage the fine details of the meeting while simultaneously determining how best to support a student's mental health. This situation also creates a dual relationship when a student is found in need of social work services because social work is involved with a client professionally, e.g., counseling and in other capacities, team lead. But ethics further stipulate that we must not mistreat ourselves and should provide services and characterize ourselves only within the boundaries of our education, training, license, certification, and personal experience. 504 SSC roles are not within our scope of licensure or practice. Representing ourselves as competent in such roles is misleading and unethical. As social workers strive to become and remain competent, proficient in professional practice, we do this by attending trainings for continuing education units that support the work we do as a function of our licensure. As professionals, we must always maintain our integrity and prioritize our unique function as counselors. Legally and morally, we owe this to their families and with whom we work. We need to be able to focus on building therapeutic relationships and our students need us to be available to make a difference in a wide variety of their needs. Trauma, loss, grief, violence, family problems, child abuse, and reporting poverty, bullying, suicide prevention, and emergency petitions. There is a nationwide mental health crisis. Community providers have waiting lists. Our students count on us. We are engaged in 504 administrative tasks. We are not available for our social work responsibilities. And this is a disservice to our students. Pamela Powell, licensed clinical worker. Next, we have a comment from Elaine Arndt. I hope I'm saying it correctly. Um, Email remarks. Baltimore City Public Schools should open on Fridays for summer school. Kids need safe and healthy opportunities year round, but summers can be really difficult due to exposure to expected and gun violence outside. Every town gun safety reports that every town for gun safety reports that in 2017 to 2021, an average 38% gun homicides and non-fatal shootings in Baltimore occurred between May 1st and August 31st. 11 teens have died from gunshots since the beginning of the year, and another 28 have been wounded. My organization, Moms Demand Action, Baltimore City, is a grassroots, nonprofit, nonpartisan gun prevention group that works to end gun in all. It is heartbreaking, so unnecessary to lose kids to gun violence, and we have too many members of our group who have borne this part. In 2022, city schools reported that it provided summer school programs to 17,500 students. All these students and their families deserve to have full summer school programs to keep kids safe and productively engaged. Strong and engaging programs like 11-8 and the Y operate in schools, but will be forced to give up Friday programming if the current plan for operating 4 days a week remains. Let's lean into our strengths, Baltimore, and protect our kids while giving them stimulating programs during the long, hot summer. Thank you for your work for Baltimore City Schools and for considering these comments. The final comment that we have is from Latoya Nettle. Who it may concern, and members of the board. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of the Alliance to Reclaim Our Schools and my community. The Baltimore Alliance to Reclaim Our Schools is a coalition of parents, educators, students, school staff, and community fighting for an equitably funded quality public education system. I am the Arrows Parent organization and recently sat with Baltimore City parents at a vision board party. I like to invite parents to social studies so they can relax and have time to network amongst themselves. It still takes a village, and parents need a village as well. As parents concerned with school safety is growing and expectedly so, their concerns are, but not limited to, towards practice in schools, police-free schools, trauma-informed personnel, and simply doors that lock. As former community school logistics coordinator, I understand that costs can halt progress. In the interest of our youth, I will testify and say that cost is too much for our youth. All school doors should be properly closed by staff who have the ability to lock for safety. Also, if these school shootings continue, we'll have no further to plan. Our children are dying from lack of knowledge and safety on our part. We must guard our future like our lives depend on it because the light of school violence are at the forefront of concerns and community. School personnel, such as psychologists, are asked to perform anti-gang initiatives and protect the school. Psychologists are not equipped and it is counterproductive for what the profession is needed for mental health. I propose that during district-wide professional development days, our school psychologists deserve discipline-specific presentations as detailed by NASD practice model. School psychologists, supervisors, coordinators shall have input into use and planning for their PD day. Currently, the school psychologists do not have agency in their PD. The district PD for school personnel is not discipline specific. Also, according to NASB, ratios should not exceed 500 students per school psychologist when scheduling. The current ratio exceeds one school psychologist to 1,000 students. This can be this can all be implemented with your help and the community support. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you. Thank you, Latoya Nettles. Concludes the written public comment.
Lastly, we have in-person comment. This is Marla Posey Moss.
Good evening. I'm Marla Posey Moss, the president of Free State PTA, the official state PTA Congress in Maryland representing National PTA. I appreciate your welcome, Vice Chair McFadden, Chief Executive Officer Santa Lucia, and School Commissioner. I visit with you all today to associate face with the state PTA Congress and enlighten you on the state PTA perspective. More specifically, the Free State PTA legislative agenda, which I do hope you've received electronically, and the Free State PTA Convention that's coming up July 28th and July 30th. It is virtual. I know only a couple of you may have been elected way back in November, but the majority of you are seasoned. And I know you've had word and been able to hear from the Baltimore City Council PTA President, Anthony January, who is also a colleague of mine on the Free State PTA Board. First, I would like to share with you a distinguished PTA from other parent groups. Since all PTAs are nonprofits in our membership-based advocacy associations. As the largest child advocacy association in Maryland with over 60,000 plus members, the Free State PTA values collaboration, commitment, diversity, respect, and accountability. The state PTA works with constituent PTAs on a myriad of professional business expectations, ranging from leadership training, adherence to financial guidelines and governance documents such as bylaws, promotion of partnerships within the community, maintaining insurance and tax filings, and administration of programs and grant funding that promote family engagement, arts, health and safety, literacy, and a host of other parent interests that contributes to a positive school climate. A critical component that underlies our work as a PTA family is in diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. The PTA realizes that strong education that considers DEI helps children, their families, and school communities be successful. Moreover, a quality education is attained when diverse voices, perspectives, and experiences are infused in acquiring knowledge and learning in the classroom, executing policies and procedures, and conducting professional development. Additionally, achievement is improved when the implementation of education is tailored with the proper resources to meet the needs of students. That is equity. Membership to PTA is always open to anyone who believes in the purposes and values of PTA. And this includes individuals who do not have children, to parents and guardians of non-public school students, members of the community, and of course the policymakers like yourself. And on a note of policymaking, annually the Free State PTA developed a legislative agenda, which I know I've referenced earlier. And at the root of the policy of the legislative agenda is parental involvement and advocacy for all students, their families, teachers, and school communities. The mission of PTA is to make every child's potential reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. And I can't stress that enough. It's for all children. And I'd like to share with you just a few legislative bills on which we provided some supportive legislative testimony in Annapolis. And these bills have passed at the close of sine die. House Bill 185, non-public schools, child care providers, corporal punishment, the prohibition of it. A bill on special education, judicial actions, attorney's fees, and related costs, which is House Bill 1237. School buildings, solar technology, solar panels in schools, Senate Bill 35. Site registration, PFAS testing requirements, Senate Bill 158. It passed, but not as a bill, but rather a study. It's going to be a work study for people to understand how their environment might be affecting children's health at school systems. Education, service year option program establishment. Basically, that bill is serving every region through the Vocational Exploration Act of 2013. That's House Bill 546, which is actually promoted through the governor's administration. Absolutely. In closing, and if you haven't already, I invite you to coordinate with the Council PTA President Debbie Demery and join a local PTA unit. In conclusion, again, I'd like to invite you to our virtual convention from July 28th to July 30th. Thank you for your support of public schools, especially here in Baltimore City. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And Ms. Emery has mentioned the participation in that organization with us before we have a standing meeting with them. So thank you for your advocacy and for joining us tonight. Thank you. Based on public comments, are there any additional items any board members would like to pull from the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion
So moved.
to approve? Thank Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? There's a motion from Commissioner Roberts. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Day. All in favor, Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito?
Yes.
Commissioner Day? Yes. Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Sally?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrington?
Yes.
I'm in favor. That is 8 in favor with 3 absent. That motion passed. We're now going to move to item 5.01, policy JJA. We have members of our staff who are here to present with us this evening. Thank you for your patience. And then immediately following that information and discussion item, we will hear from Chief John Davis on a first reader policy KIB. That is item 9.01. To our staff and presenters, thank you all for being with us. Just asking, know that you all do a great job with presenting those high points, so that we have room for discussion this evening should our happen. Thank you all and good evening to you. There we go. Right.
Use this one. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Thank you for taking that. So I'm Sarah Warren, I'm Executive Director for the Office of Council Support, and we're very excited to be here with you tonight to talk about policy JJA, our student organization policy. Before I have my colleagues here introduce themselves, I just want to shout out our student leader who's here with us virtually, Grant Travis. Been very much involved in this process with us. He is a member of, there he is, hi Grant, a member of ASCBC and a student at Oak Harbor BLT operator. So he will not be presenting, but will be available for questions and information. Yes, yes. He's been very involved all along the way. And there are many other students who have been involved, but all of them here today because they were here with SATs. Yes.
Hi, I'm Haley Holt. I'm a youth engagement specialist in the Office of Engagement Enrollment and Communications, and I support. Good evening, everyone. My name is Danny Byers, and I'm education specialist for extracurricular programming after the whole campus.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ben Mosley. I'm principal at Glenmount Elementary Middle School.
And I also just wanted to acknowledge, I think we have Chris Battaglia here who's been part of the work, and our colleagues from the legal office who've been central, incredibly important in the process, Marion Lynn, Ross Sivan, and Rebecca Burney. So that we will get going. So line with policy work to five of our board priorities, 1, 4, 5, and we just put a few of our acronyms because we realize we do a lot of talking letters in this presentation. A couple of the ones I'd like to call out are ASBC, the Associated Student Congress of Baltimore City, as well as our GSA, Gender Sexuality Alliance and Gay Straight Alliance, the BSA, the Black Student Association, and student-led organizations, or SLOs, which we will talk about in later slides becomes an important distinction. So as we dive into the conversation around this work, we want to call out the key objectives of what we're trying to work on here. The first being a general update of policy JJA and the associated administrative regulation. And as we're doing that update, we are specifically charged with, by the policy committee last year, integrating language around student government associations and ASCBC. At the same time, the policy committee urged us to make sure that we were really lifting up our other student organizations, and particularly Black student associations, gender sexuality alliances, and organizations that maybe have not always gotten as much support and attention as we want them to get. And then the last thing I will note is that we are in parallel with working on the policy, also developing guidance around student rights and responsibilities district-wide, which is both something we need to do to satisfy state requirements and also something that we will use to replace an old board rule and also important to do. So forward. This process has been going on since October, beginning with a lot of patients with our students and landscape analysis. We've been working on the red lines with the help of our legal team and doing a lot of consultations along the way. Obviously, once this policy eventually is adopted or the revisions are passed, we will then have to really zero in on the implementation and the impact measurement. Equity has been central to our conversations throughout this process, both in terms of how we approach the work, thinking about who's at the table continuously, and then as we look at the actual documents that we're creating, and ultimately really where it will come down to rubber meets the road, so to speak, is in how we actually implement this policy and the rights and responsibilities that result. Again, quick overview of the process. Obviously, we're on the first reader tonight. We're moving towards second reader on May 23rd. I'll hand it to Haley.
True. As part of the JJ revision process, we've been charged with landscape analysis of our student. And so to just kick that off, we are excited to say that we have doubled our number of student governments in October. We have close to full coverage in high. Thank you, Commissioner Floyd. And just looking at one other thing from this slide, the SGA composition is racially proportionate to our student bodies. We will have a much more expansive landscape analysis with a lot more data in advance of second. Thank you, Haley. And in a continued effort to build out our land, let's gather information around the presentation of GSAs in city schools. And as you can see here, as of this school year, you have 46 active GSAs with 60 advisors trained. And in addition to that, continuing our landscape, we were also able to capture some information. Thank you. We were actually able to capture additional information regarding other student organizations and groups across city schools. In the snapshot, you see that we had 45 schools reporting on our capture form during the quarter of the school year, and you can see the different types of programs and organizations that are offered across the district. Sure. I have to put my teacher voice on. We've also done a great around SGA and human rights and responsibilities policies and other LEAs. This is an area where City Schools has an opportunity to break ground because a lot of other LEAs don't have policies, or if they do, they're often student organizations and student government are rolled into their student rights and responsibilities.
As I noted earlier, we've done a number of older consultations already, with many more to come. I particularly just want to lift up again the incredible partnership that we've had with our students along the way, both with ASBC. They have helped us open the door to conversations with many members of SGAs. But we've also met with a number of other groups of students at the district at different grade levels. The other thing I call out here is the feedback page on the City Schools website. We're still encouraging people to go to that page and click on the link and give us as much feedback as you can, because we will really take it into account as we continue with this revision process.
Okay, and so we want to lift up some of the highlights for you from our student consultation sessions. And this synthesizes the student conversations that ASBC held with their peers at General Assemblies, and it also synthesizes the consultation conversations that were led by the Office of the Child with students from diverse student-led organizations, as well as input received with ASCBC. So a lot of student voices represented in these four themes. So we heard that students want access to leadership. They want access to leadership opportunities. They want principals to minimize eligibility criteria so that students, all types of students can participate. We know that student organizations are a really good engagement strategy. Students want autonomy within their organizations, but they also want institutional support from their school and from the district. They want to be included in decisions, so they want substantive decision-making opportunities, not just providing feedback after decisions have been made, but participating, having a seat at the table in those decision-making like school, family, community. They want clear processes and support to grow the organization. So that means clear line of communication with school leadership, and as well as clear protocols, an advisor, funding, facilities, and resources. And then lastly, if they don't receive the support under this revised policy, they want an appeals process. They want to know who they go to next to make sure that they get the support they deserve. And continuing to recap some of the key themes from our consultation sessions with students, when given the list of possible rights and responsibilities that students would experience, the general feedback that we received from students was overall favorable, and I want to more specifically highlight that students felt a level of enthusiasm, especially around the right to expression,
And then on the responsibility side, when covering those, another one that students named, while in support of the responsibilities in general, they named that they would like to see safeguards put in place for students who are expected to uphold the responsibility of reporting bullying, harassment, and illegal behavior.
Okay, so we're about to get to the meat and potatoes, policy revisions. But just to kind of frame that out, right? The overall purpose of this policy is to support accessible, equitable, and thriving student organizations. And we are looking at that in three buckets. So one is defining student rights and responsibilities and giving students guidance around those. The second is offering additional supports for all of our student organizations and especially our historically marginalized student groups. And then finally, to call out student government and to define the sort of special rights and options of student government. So we have a lot of revisions, and I'm going to try to hit the highlights. They're numbered on the far left, so I'll be referencing those numbers, and I'll also just direct your attention to the themes from the student consultation conversations in the justifications. We really want to highlight that every revision has been driven by what students say they want here. First is the second point. We have changed the purpose of policy JJA. The current policy centers uniformity for student organizations, and we really want to center supporting thriving and accessible and equitable student organizations. Point four, we revised definitions of student organization and school-sponsored organization. This has legal implications for expenditure of public funds. Point five, we've established students' right to free expression and other First Amendment rights that are critical for students who are doing organizing work at their school. On the next slide, point seven, we've defined student government associations and categorized them as school-sponsored organizations. Point nine, we've named that students have a right to organize. We've asked administrators to keep eligibility criteria to a minimum to make sure that our organizations are accessible and equitable. And we've also required that schools publicize a clear process that students can follow in their approval for their organization. Point 10, we have required that every high school establish student government, and we've encouraged elementary and middle schools to do the same. On the next slide, point 11, we've required that schools grant access to student governments and to other organized student groups to participate in formal decision-making bodies like school family committee and council. Point 12, we named that city schools has a responsibility for providing training and technical support to the adults who are supporting student organizations. And then we've also, that city schools will partner with ASCDC to provide that professional development for student leaders as well. And then finally, we've named that city schools will develop the Student Rights and Responsibilities Handbook that will synthesize not only JJA, but other key student-facing policies. Okay, so that was the policy revisions, and then on to the regulation revisions. So, point three, kind of giving more details to establishing parameters for administrators who want to set eligibility criteria for student participation, making sure that we still prioritize student engagement. Point four, we've established that administrators have the responsibility to create a clear process for students to access student body or student activity funds that's clear, transparent, and equitable. Point six, we have similarly required a clear and consistent process by which schools approve the formation of student organizations, and that includes if a student group is denied approval, they have a right to revise their application and resubmit it and receive a written explanation of the administrator's decision. Point seven, we've established clear directives for students to seek and receive approval for the use of school property, so facilities, meetings. Point eight, we have outlined the special rights and responsibilities of student government associations. So briefly, the right to prepare a constitution, to have an advisor who is compensated, to be included in school decision making, to have regular lines of communication with their administration, serve as a channel for other students' petitions, and to receive a timely response that's defined as 5 business days from their administrator when they offer recommendations, as well as some others that are listed there. We named that every student has the right to vote in student government as well as to seek office in student government. We've established that schools will not restrict, but will support our historically underrepresented groups, including our gender sexuality alliances and Black student associations or Black student unions. On the next slide, point 12, we have laid out all those First Amendment rights that student organizers need, the right to free expression, petition, assembly, etc. 13, we have established system-wide support to city schools. I want to look up specifically. We'll be responsible for maintaining a centralized hub of resources for student organizations, so including things like approval forms or request for facility forms, so students know where to go if they need something. And then last but not least, we clarified the circumstances under which students can appeal an administrator's decision.
We have taken it on ourselves to try to figure out all of the many policies and regulations that connect to this. So with the help from our legal friends, we are looking at all of these different policies and more actually not in here. We will ensure alignment with the policy as well as rights and responsibilities across all of these other policies and regulations.
Thank you. So this next slide really speaks within the same vein in regards to laying out the student rights and responsibilities, as well as Dr. Warren noted previously, with alignment with other regulations stipulated in the slide prior to. In addition, we are laying out our commitment, our further commitment across districts regarding student rights, responsibilities. The work is not over, as we did previously, and we're still taking in input, and we're anxious to hear from all stakeholders. So for future consideration is continued support, and that continued support will be housed from central office here in order to support systems that help capture best practices, as well as give and offer other schools access to those best practices. So we're in continuous best communication with one another, and schools can have the ability to learn from one another. Here we build out that the work has already begun. Work has already begun. As you can see stated, there's already been 24 coaching calls. SBA advisors have had frequent check-ins, even with our young gentleman, Grant, right there, who's online with us. The work is still going, and the advocacy work is where we're at next. We're building that student leadership, that advocacy of the organization, and continuous improvement throughout our implementations and our policy. And last, this really speaks to the monitoring and the tracking of the policy, not just policy itself, but the student effectively. Has it really affected, has it really been implemented? Is it such an impact that we anticipated for our students?
And with that, we will turn it over to you for questions.
Thank you to the team. Thank you to our staff. Thank you to our students that have contributed. This is something that is very, very close to my heart, just knowing that our young people have been trying to find the best way to advocate for themselves, but for us to also use it as an opportunity to empower and educate our students on policy making and just being able to be leaders no matter what community they exist in. So I really appreciate that. As a former member of the policy committee, I know that this was something that we were really pushing on. So I just want to say thank you to me, everyone involved who are undergoing a thoughtful process. I think this is a thoughtful process, multiple stakeholders that have been involved, and not something that is rushed, but hopefully something that keeps change quickly is we're seeing the increase of students involved in student government associations, different student advocacy groups. You can already see the intentionality around the work. And thank you to the CEO and our staff for making sure that we've hired a staff person to kind of really be a point of contact for student leaders, student organizations, and advocacy groups. I want to open this up. I know that our policy chair, our acting policy chair, has something, but I do want to just mention in the regulation, RA, I'm on page 3 in the regulation, activities of student organizations. I'm at number 5. So we're looking at school principals just for something to consider and think about. School principals um, shall define a clear, equitable, and transparent process for student organizations to apply for funding through the school budget. I want us to take some time to really think through that because I think about schools in various geographic locations throughout our city. What becomes equitable as far as funds available, but we want to make sure that all of our young people have access to funds. Now, of course, they're going to fundraise and do those things in a responsible way. But where is the equity in some schools that may have more access to resources in their school activity funds and schools that may not? Just I'm throwing that out there for us to consider as we're thinking about our young people who have the voice, but will also need to be empowered with the resources to truly advocate for themselves and for their community. Commissioner Sally?
So you covered a lot of the points I was going to lift up. I just want to say thank you so much to the staff for taking the time to do a comprehensive kind of soup to nuts implementation, right? So we're looking at comprehensive landscape analysis that you guys developed, the voices that you talked to, how these things infiltrate into policy, and then the implementation side of it. Right? It's something I want my board colleagues to consider as we're looking at this when it comes back for second reader and then for vote. But the questions will only help our city schools probably strengthen the policy and implementation, measurement, and evaluation of policy set forth here. So thank you.
Commissioner Reed?
Something that's probably pretty sanguine. When we're looking at implementation, he speaks to the issue of fundraising and principal-led spending. We have to really be serious and grounded in terms of the because we've had situations that can be tenuous because of accountability, and it's maybe small in terms of money, but it's big in terms of reputational risks. That's something.
Also want us to consideration. I don't know if the policy committee meets for a minute, but for consideration, do we provide any type of credit to student commissioners who serves in this role? Um, the amount of time that they spend in the role, is this something that could be captured in this policy or maybe somewhere else? Because we have all of you here. It's something to consider. Do we do that? Do we consider um, any? Are there any considerations for curriculum development for student leaders, for the student commissioner that could also potentially help onboarding of this now more largely elected student? Um, just throwing that out there to the team for consideration. I know that this is first reader, but I'm wondering if you all can think through that. I know there are legal implications, there are curriculum implications, there are state requirements as far as credits and all of that is concerned. But it's something for us to consider and think about, and can also make that the role of student commissioner, and maybe some of our other student leadership positions more attractive to students if they know that they may be not necessarily compensated, but can earn some sort of credit for something. Maybe service learning hour addition. I don't know what that would look like, but I'm just throwing that out to folks that are crafting the policy into the policy committee as you all have considerations as well.
One thing I think we looked at in policy too is thinking about the role of central district in helping school leaders with underrepresented voices. I think some of that comes in the metrics in the back end so that we understand like which schools have stronger participation representation, schools have seen areas of growth, and how do we, from an equity standpoint, support those leaders and helping their schools have just the most vibrant community culture and vitality. And so it's something I'm hopeful that we'll see as a result of some of the data that comes out in the back end. But also understanding that where schools are at today, the work that you've done up front is immensely valuable.
Thank you to the team. Thank you for your work, and we look forward to hearing more updates as we get ready to move to second reader. Thank you all. We're now going to move into item 9.01. That is policy KIB, sex offender registry, revisions to address state law changes. This is the first reader.
I think it's a delay because I have a Mac. Okay. Good afternoon, oh, good evening, everyone. My name is Cora Person. I am the Special Assistant Schools. I will be presenting Board Policy KIB, which is the Sex Offender Registry revisions to address state law. This policy revision alignment with priority 1, 4, and 5. And I will go over our current board policy KIB sex offender registry. Policy KIB was adopted in 2017, which balances the school's commitment to maintain a safe environment for our students, staff, and community members. Um, with this original implementation of the policy, students who were enrolled in schools, if they were or their parents were registered sex offenders, under the principal's discretion, they were allowed to enter school grounds. And then also, some registrants are allowed to enter school grounds if they have permission for voting purposes. The changes which we'll be discussing today are a result of an incident that happened within Baltimore County. This was back in 2019, where a student who was a convicted sex offender and placed on the registry was allowed to re-enroll in his school, in which he had raped one of his classmates. Now, at the time that this incident happened, there was no law against what happened. The principal was not at fault, nor was Baltimore County School District. However, the revisions came from discretion from the Maryland Office of Inspector General, and I will go into some of these changes as we go throughout the presentation. The changes in the Maryland state law, which was placed in 2021 by the Maryland General Assembly. It is actually Senate Bill 515, which is criminal procedure for registered sex offenders entry into school property. The high-level changes are that sex offenders are no longer allowed to enter the school property under the discretion of the school administrator, which was the previous law. And now, if a student is convicted of a sex offense, they are no longer allowed to enter school properties. However, I do want to highlight that school systems will still be responsible for ensuring that if a child is convicted, that we will allow them to continue their education and that it will model the same practice that they would receive if they were in a traditional working workforce. MSDE did release a model policy for us and all other school districts to align with. Sorry for the delay. It's because of my Mac. Okay, there it is. Okay. And based on this model, the state laws, as I stated, the school leader is no longer at the discretion, and we're going to go over some of the responsibilities that we now have to ensure that the students will maintain their education. This next slide, I'm basically going to go over some of the work that was conducted while we decided things that we thought about while conducting research and how we were going to implement change with the juvenile sex offender registry laws. The Office of Legal Counsel was a big help with helping refine and define things for us as we worked on the implementation of this new policy. Office of Legal Counsel did review over 1,500 individuals who are currently listed on the public sex offender registry who are in Baltimore City. Of those registrants, there were only 3 who were under the age of 21, and of those 3, they were not students who are currently enrolled in Baltimore City Public Schools. Students who are committed and added to the sex offender registry, it's the responsibility of the Baltimore City Police Department and our state court system in order to notify us if one of our students are placed on the sex offender registry. And we're continuously working with stakeholders in order to ensure that this is a seamless process so that no unnecessary repercussions happen during this time. This slide goes over the definition thinking of what a student, which would land you on the student sex offender registry. You have to be at least 14 years old and an adjudicated delinquent for the following crimes that are listed here. These are the only things that would land a Baltimore City Public School student or any juvenile of that matter on the actual sex offender registry. Things that could cause you to be removed from the sex offender registry. These 4 points. That's location. And I do want to note that if or when there is a registrant who relocates from our school district to another school district, we will provide that information to the accepting school district as well. Expiration of registration or pardon, expungement, or overturn conviction. This next slide goes into some of the changes which will directly align with MSDE policy. One of the high-level things that I just want to adhere to, we already spoke on this, but when we are adjusting or if it comes to the point where a student is on the sex offender registry, one of the main things that we ensure that we will work with stakeholders to ensure that the students' needs are met even though they are no longer inside of our brick and mortar schools. And one of the key points that we wanted to make sure we had a plan for was working with the Office of Special Education to ensure that if the student does have an IEP or 504, that they still receive those services. And another main point that we want to highlight is that the goal is to make this a streamlined process so that if this were to happen, that there wouldn't be any gaps in their education and that they wouldn't feel like they're missing out on any critical classes or school time because of this. The bottom bullet point goes into some of MSDE's suggestions for our educational pathway, which would include home and hospital. We have added the virtual learning program, MSDE flag RICA, which is the Regional Institute for Children and Adolescents, or the family could opt to do a non-public educational program such as home. This next slide goes into additional revisions. Most of these things I've already covered. The highlights are that students and registrants are prohibited from entering the school policy, but we still want to ensure that they're receiving a quality education. And also one of the main things is that we are ensuring that we're having clear communication with the parent or guardian so that they feel that their needs are still being heard. They understand how the process will work for them and their family. And if they have any questions or anything like that, they still feel supported throughout the process and throughout the remainder of the educational career. This slide goes over new definitions that are added based on the state law. Registered student sex offender, it was provided for clarity. The policy states that it only applies to students who are on the state registry. School property was revised to school grounds, which includes our leased buildings, vehicles, or other property. MSPE did also redefine sex offender in alignment with the Federal Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act, as well as student. MSDE now highlights that students are labeled as between the ages of 5 and 22 years old and are enrolled in Waterbury. These are additional revisions to the regulation. As we noted in the beginning, the title has changed, as well as the detailed process for determining educational programming. There's an explanation of a transition process for the students who, if they are removed, what that looks like for them returning to our brick and mortar schools. And then also just a important clarification that registering is not allowed to attend the same school on our transportation system as victims if they are no longer on the registry. And we spoke a lot about how this provision would impact the potential student, but we do also want to highlight that we are prepared and want to support the victim. That one is one of our students within the school system. So these victim support standards that we have already aligned with policies that we have in place, policy BB, JXP, and JK. Here are listed some things that we offer for that student if they need be as a result of them being a victim. And those include if they even wanted to, they could transfer to another school. And as we simply, even if the registrant does return, we will have contact on city schools grounds with that victim. So this is our schedule. This is our first reader, and our second reader will be June 13th. I have no idea why the delay is so bad. And then this slide goes into our stakeholder engagement. We sent out requests for feedback and have posted informational lessons when requested. And this is the list of our stakeholder engagement teams. So I will open the floor if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Carson. Commissioners?
I'd like to say this also came to policy committee. I just want to thank both Cora and the chief of school's office for doing a really good job in terms of looking at policy, what needs to be updated and revised in our policy here, and also setting the parameters to make sure it's very clear in terms of who it affects, ouch level it affects, as well as on the other end, for any impacted students who may fall prey or victim to bullying. So thank you for that. For the vision and update. Thanks.
Commissioner Slater Harrington.
I'll say it again. I just want to recognize the hard work and the thoughtful consideration that was put into this policy, this policy uh, for some of our, that impacts some of our most vulnerable. I don't know if it's a question, but just operational uh, considerations I think are significant. Um, Particularly anytime you have a small population of students for which you have to plan broadly for i.e. transportation and not having them in the same transportation situation. Um, I'm just thinking about additionally the budget implications and all of those things, staffing to address, again, a small population of students that have to be addressed, and almost especially need almost. Again, not a question, just thinking through all of these things. And I see that you put that thought into that. And I also want to recognize you thinking on the big side of that and recognize that we have prior victims who've been impacted by this who may not be uh, in our homes, but who exist in our system. And hopefully this policy will have coverage of them as well. Okay.
I just want to highlight that it was a large effort across a couple of cabinets, especially legal. They really gave us a lot of helpful feedback and definitely gave us the opportunity to align this with how we felt as legally as possible, especially the victim portion. That was very important to a lot of us in the office, and we really wanted to make sure in our first draft we didn't have that. And then we really thought about it and felt like that was important that we, even though it wasn't asked, that we brought it up because we thought through so many other things. We didn't want to feel like we were leaving someone out. So I'm happy that someone appreciates it because it was very important to us. And at a time like that, you don't want to feel like you're not included or you're left out. So thank
Thank you. So in the regulation, I see a couple of, I'm on page 5 in the regulation, where I see the red. Number B, educational programming for student. I want us to be mindful if the student identified as now is on the intersection section from the registry. Number 1 and B says the Office of Emergency Choice Transport will identify the placement. I think we need to be very specific. If the student has a 504 plan or an IEP, that meeting should occur prior to office of enrollment and transfer, any decision about the difference in rates. So make sure we make note of that. Because also do it on passion, right? When the student goes back to the school, no matter what the case is, I think it's important that student support team meets, that IEP team meets prior to the decision being made about transfer. And I think it kind of does go to a little of what we're hearing from the district around transportation. Whether that is a requirement for a student that may receive specialized services, that should happen on the front end, not on the back end. So I think it's important that we take that into consideration in the policy second reading.
Yeah. So, hi. So I just wanted to add there actually is a section in the regulation on students with IEPs on how to serve them immediately as well, but we can for sure clarify that more.
I know the sections are here in the regulation. I just want to get this, right? Because once we approve it in policy, I think it's very important. It now then goes schools that are implementing it. We want to make sure that the schools that implement it fidelity, but also that the students are receiving that appropriate education, regardless of the choice that they made. It's still our responsibility to do that. But before we make a decision on like, it's not, yes, you're right, it is that there are things in that receive additional services, specialized services. I think it's important that we're explicit. We have the opportunity on the front end to do that. Make it easier for us to come to the divisions. And then schools being able to implement it with fidelity. We certainly don't want any state violations or anything like that, making it work harder because we didn't work together to ensure that the right safeguards were in place prior to the decision being made or change in place. Thank you. Any additional questions or thoughts from listeners?
So this just makes me think too. It may make sense to take one more additional look with some of our other affected student population groups, like students who are experiencing homelessness, collective delinquent youth, if there are any opportunities or necessary opportunities to make us about how we treat those students who are experiencing those kind of circumstances and the policies. So,
Is this directed towards transitioning back in? Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Because I know there's some requirements.
Yeah.
Wasn't unmuted. Pivot. Thank you. Is there a report from the operations committee?
There is not a report from the operations committee. All of the items that we had at our last meeting were approved onto the consent agenda.
Thank you, operations chair. What about the policy committee? Is there a report? Maybe what you all discussed was presented.
Yep. I mean, and since our two meetings, so one of the items, actually both the items came here tonight. From last meeting, we did look at new regulations specifically addressing media and library services, and so we can expect that for full board for first reader. We want to lift up that does come with the available transcripts. Look at that in particular because we have a lot of both opportunity as well as just a duty to ensure that we're providing equitable media service across our system. Our compliance report specifically looked at education, access, and then also administrative search and seizure.
Thank you, Commissioner Sally. And those compliance reports are important, right? Because a part of when we create as part of the regulations, oftentimes we're asking for specific information while we're creating the policy for accountability sake. So thank you for breaking that, Commissioner Sally. There are compliance reports for any of our policies. Make sure that we're putting our eyes on those. And if you have any questions, to send those in. And to also acting. Thank you, Commissioner Sally, for taking that on.
Sure. Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, and I don't want to lose the thought that like our existing staff are putting a lot of effort into putting those together. The information in there is really important. It goes to our duty as a board to ensure that we're reviewing those.
Absolutely. Thank you. Also, as a reminder, we mentioned earlier about the graduation sign-up. Send it back out to us if you have not done that. Let's make sure that we've done that. Several of the commissioners have done that, and we know that we are moving into prom season already. Graduation season is right here upon us with 6 weeks left in our school year. So really utilize that and sign up. Sign up. Okay, so we're beyond the, is it about a committee report? Okay, so we're after, like we mentioned earlier, that 7:30 mark. Can we hold it or speak to the CEO about that? Yes. Thank you. The notice of our upcoming meeting, teaching and learning, will meet on May 2nd at 3:30. Exec session of the board of this body, Tuesday, May 9th at 3 o'clock. In the third floor conference room here, 200 East North Avenue. Next public board meeting will be that same evening at 5 p.m. Thank you all for bearing with us tonight as we've had some technical challenges. Operations Committee will meet on Tuesday, May 16th at 10:30 a.m. Policy Committee will meet that same day at 4 p.m. We also have a board hearing that is scheduled in May. Do we have the date for that? May 17th. So it is the very next day after that policy meeting. And more information about that particular hearing will come. Just to make sure that it's on commissioners' calendars, May 17th is the last of our forum series. Now, a hearing based on a decision that the board made a few meetings ago. With that, is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Commissioner Reed. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Day. All in favor, just indicate by saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and to our staff, have a great evening, and to all of our administrative professionals, tomorrow is your day. Happy administrative professionals. Have a good evening, everyone.